Marvel has decided that they have had enough of Diamond Distributors after a year in which Diamond decided that they were going to go down like the bitches that they are because of the pandemic. Well, when DC was criticized for this move, Marvel seems to be praised for it. Hypocritical much? In the comic book industry, you betcha. Now, the news comes from bleeding cool Richie Johnson, who is a little bastard that has knowledge and information on this thing, but also who supported in the first place the idea that everyone should stick to Diamond because otherwise the comic book industry would crumble down under its own weight. Well, now reports on this thing and apparently seems to be quite okay with it. So let's dive into it. Reads, quote, Marvel Comics has announced that they will no longer be distributing comic books to comic stores in North America via Diamond Comic Distributors. Instead, they will be exclusively distributed by Penguin Random House Publisher Services, a division of Penguin Random House. This will be an exclusive worldwide multi-year sales and distribution agreement for Marvel's newly published and backlist comic books, trade collections and graphic novels to comic shops, and Penguin Random House officially begins its distribution to direct market retailers for Marvel titles starting October the 1st, end quote. Now, this is very important piece of news because it says here that Penguin Random House is going to be distributing worldwide, something that, of course, it draws the attention to what happened with the DC. When DC started their new distribution deals, they were in a bit of a mess because that was only for the North American market at first, and they had to figure out outside the world, at large, how they were going to approach this and who they were going to make deals with in terms of who they were going to get for distribution of comic books by DC Comics. This now seems a much well thought out deal on the part of Marvel and, of course, Penguin Random House, but at the same time, it tells us that, basically speaking, there's going to be no such thing as a disaster going on like what happened with DC when they broke out from the deal they had with Diamond. In this case, Marvel is going to have the distribution deal with Penguin Random House complete and opened, and it's going to be out there in the world for anyone who wants to continue selling the Marvel comic books to continue going with Penguin Random House. But what does this mean for Diamond Distributors? Well, we have something of an answer here in the article as well. Reads, quote, however, Marvel states that direct market comic book retailers, as well as being able to order Marvel Direct from Penguin Random House, will also be able to order through Diamond Comic Distributors, who will act as a wholesaler in their terms established by Diamond in the US and the UK. However, Diamond will become a a vendor of Penguin Random House, just like every other store. So, basically speaking, Diamond is going to be buying from Penguin Random House instead of getting directly from Marvel Comics their comic books. Why then would anyone want to stay with Diamond under those circumstances? And also if they also have to get them from Penguin Random House, will they be charging shipping for this? Currently, Diamond doesn't really charge shipping inside the United States if you buy like a certain amount or something like that, if I remember correctly. But also, Penguin Random House, they do not charge. They are, shipping free. Will they be then charging Diamond if they get the product from Penguin Random House? We are going to see how that fares in upcoming months because this, as stated in the article, is taking effect on October the 1st. So this is the end, basically speaking, for Diamond Distributors. They are gone from the picture, basically speaking. The most of their profit came from three big companies, mainly DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and Image Comics. And with DC out of the picture after Diamond decided that they were not going to be distributing because of the pandemic and all that shite, they only had DC, sorry, Marvel and also Image Comics, and now also Marvel is quitting. How long? How long until a diamond falls down? And let me tell you something. In a basic general terms, comic book related information and videos, all of that, it doesn't really fare that well. I mean, we're talking about this because it's something that I like and I have always liked. But in general terms, people don't really care about comic books anymore. And it's not that they cared that much in the past, but that they are no longer interested in it as much as in the past. Basically, because there are shitty stories going on, because nobody cares about them, or simply put, because it's not really that important. But it feels like the comic book industry is going to be a little bit shorter than we had expected in the past. Basically speaking, the reasons for the change are that Marvel thinks that this will help them grow, and that also it will help the industry grow and also retailers grow. Whether that is true or not is yet left to be seen. One thing is certain, DC got a lot of fire for having quit the business methodology with Diamond, and now I don't see the same being said about Marvel, who are doing basically exactly the same thing. They just waited a little bit longer, more than a year or a little over a year, to make their move, but still, it's the same principle behind the thing. They do not like what is happening with the comic book industry, and now that they have seen that the first company has left the building, they are going after that company as well, and they are doing exactly the same thing. Now, this to me seems like a more intelligent distribution plan than the one that DC created back in June, I think it was, but it's still a major blow for Diamond, and of course, that also reduces a little bit the scope and the strength that they held, so there is no longer this monopoly in the distribution, and of course, I can only expect that such things elevate the quality of the distribution and also of the perks and deals that people get for the retailers. But it all amounts to nothing if there is no quality in comic book storytelling as well. On that note, I want to read Marvel's press release that says the following quote: "After a thorough analysis of the market environment, Marvel has chosen Penguin Random House Publisher Services as its distribution partner to create a sustainable, productive supply chain and enhance the infrastructure for Marvel publications that will benefit comic retailers and fans alike for years to come. Penguin Random House is known for its state-of-the-art multi-ranging services that enable independent booksellers to increase efficiency and profitability. Profitability that will be better served by the great comics that Marvel creates."